I'm going to have like a mini marathon tonight because after this, well, at 7 o'clock, I'm going to do some baking, that baking that I told you about, and then we'll be back at 11:15 to talk about Gypsy Rose Blanchard's release from prison tomorrow. So our little marathon. And but it'll be fun. After this, it will be some fun time. I'll have the panel all up like we did the fun old-fashioned family Christmas video when I was baking. We're going to do it like that, so that'll be good. But I wanted to talk about Jodi Hildebrandt, who pled guilty to 4 counts of felony aggravated child abuse today. And then I also want to talk about Savannah Soto and some documents that were released in that. So if you watch this was a very short hearing for her plea. She appeared there. She had a strange look on her face, very strange look on her face. And then it took a long time. Her counsel was rocking and rocking in their chair for like, I don't know, literally half of the time that the whole hearing took place. Anyway, the judge came in, asked her, if she pled guilty to this of her own volition. Nobody was pressuring her. Nobody was promising her anything other than what the judge knows about. And, if she understands that this is be prison time and, yada, yada, are you on medication? Are you on under the influence of any medication or drugs? Of course, she said no. And are you ready to enter your pleas? So you didn't read the details about the counts, just the counts of aggravated child abuse, to which she pled guilty. She didn't do anything like Franke did, like on the last one with the big breath and said, about, I'm so sorry for my family and my children, but, guilty. She just said 4 straight guilties, and that was pretty much all there was. And she has a sentencing date for February. So that was all they wrote. There'll be no trials in Franke or Jodi Hildebrandt. They both took plea deals. And let's see if we can. Hang on one second. And grab something right here. Okay. So she pled guilty to charges 1, 3, 5, and 6. And let me. Oh, and she waived, of course, they waived for their the pretrial hearing. And that was incorporated into the plea deal. So let's see here. So I'm trying to see what if they put the official plea deal out here yet. Let me see here. The deal stipulates that Hildebrandt will be subjected to prison time for each count to run consecutive and not concurrent. That's the same as Franke's. Protects the kids from having to testify in this. Oh, they did want a pre-sentencing investigation. So they are going to do that. Let's see here. But I want to go to the Savannah Soto stuff here next in just a sec. I'm just... One sec. Okay. All right, here we go. I think I have it. Yes, I have it now. All right, so let's see. So her deal here will be, okay, she pled guilty that she received the copy and read it and or had it read to her. Same thing as Ruby Franke, and I understand the nature and the element of the crimes to which I am pleading guilty. The elements of the crimes to which I am pleading guilty are: count 1, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony in that the defendant intentionally or knowingly inflicted upon a child, RF, that's the child's initials, serious physical injury, or having the care or custody of such child, or permitted another to inflict serious physical injury upon said child, and such serious physical injury involves physical torture in violation of Section 76.5.109.2 Utah Code, annotated 1953 as amended. Count 3, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony in that the defendant intentionally or knowingly inflicted upon a child, RF, serious physical injury, or having the care or custody of said child, such child, caused or permitted another to inflict serious physical injury upon said child, and such serious physical injury includes conduct toward a child that causes severe emotional harm in violation of, and the code again. Count 5, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony in that the defendant intentionally or knowingly inflicted upon a child, this time EF, serious physical injury, or having the care or custody of such child, caused or permitted another to inflict serious physical injury upon said child. And such serious physical injury includes conduct towards a child that causes severe emotional harm in violation of, and then they give the code. Now, count 6, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony in that the defendant intentionally or knowingly inflicted upon a child, EF, serious physical injury, or having the care or custody of such a child, caused or permitted another to inflict serious physical injury upon said child, and such serious physical injury includes any combination of 2 or more physical injuries inflicted by the same person, either at the same time or on different occasions, in violation of, and the code. I understand that by pleading guilty, I will be admitting that I committed the crime listed above. I stipulate and agree that the following facts describe my conduct and the conduct of other persons for which I am criminally liable. These facts provide a basis for the court to accept my guilty plea and prove the elements of the crime to which I am pleading guilty. And then it says from approximately May 22nd, 2023 until August 30th, 2023 in Washington County, Utah, the defendant, Jodi Hildebrandt, intentionally or knowingly inflicted and allowed another adult to inflict serious physical injuries upon 2 children living in her residence that were ages 9 and 11 to 12, as more fully described below. So let's see what this says. We know in Ruby Franke's we heard about kicking and holding underwater and all that stuff, right? Count 1, the defendant's actions involved the physical torture of RF. Initially, RF was forced to do physical tasks for hours and days at a time. And this sounds exactly like Ruby's. This included wall sits, carrying boxes full of books up and down the stairs, and working outside. Eventually, RF was forced to do outside labor without shoes and in the summer heat. He was forced to stand in the direct sunlight for several days. He was forced to remain outside at all hours of the day and night for extended periods of time. These actions resulted in repeated and serious sunburns with blistered and sloughing skin. RF was denied adequate water for several of the days he was required to remain in the summer heat, and he was punished when he secretly consumed water. That's the same as Ruby Franke's. He was denied sufficient food, and when given food, he was given very plain meals. Example, rice and chicken, while others in the house ate regular and more flavorful meals. He was isolated from other people and denied all forms of entertainment, including books, notebooks, and electronics. In addition, after RF attempted to run away in July, his hands and feet were regularly bound. Binding included being tied to an adult and to weights. Many times the binding included using 2 sets of handcuffs, one on RF's wrists and one on his ankles. At times, with RF lying on his stomach, ropes were used to tie the 2 sets of handcuffs together so that his arms and lower legs were lifted off the ground. The bindings resulted in injuries to RF's wrists and ankles where the handcuffs cut through the skin and damaged the muscle and tissue. These injuries were treated with homeopathic remedies and covered with duct tape. Then the bindings were placed on top of the duct tape. Count 2. The actions described above caused serious emotional harm to RF due to the fact that they began in May and escalated throughout the summer months. Additionally, the defendant and another adult regularly sought to indoctrinate RF and convince him that he was evil and possessed, that he needed to willingly be obedient to avoid punishments, and that the punishments were necessary to repent. He was also told that everything that was being done to him were acts of love. Count 3. The defendant's actions also caused severe emotional harm to EF other than binding and the specific instances of abuse RF was subjected to. EF was subjected to the same treatment as her brother. She was isolated and forced to do the physical tasks, remain outside, and denied food and water. She was also repeatedly told she was evil and possessed. The punishments were necessary for her to be obedient and to repent, and that these things were being done to her in order to help her. EF was convinced that she was evil and needed to go through these things in order to repent. Count 4. The defendant's action caused 2 or more physical injuries to EF. She was forced to work outside in the heat barefoot. She was also forced to run barefoot on dirt roads for an extended period of time. EF's feet were repeatedly injured and she was repeatedly sunburned. When examined on August 30th, these wounds were apparent by scabs, blisters, and sloughing skin. Additionally, the defendant either physically forced or coerced EF to jump into a cactus multiple times. So that is a new thing, jumping into the cactus. That is horrendous. But we don't see, remember Ruby's had the kicking with boots on, right? Wasn't that? And holding RF's face underwater and stuff like that. So now we have this cactus here for EF. Horrible. Then it says, she's entering the pleas voluntarily. She understands that she has the following rights. She has the right to counsel and the right to be represented by an attorney, and that if she can't afford one will be appointed by the court at no cost to her. She understands that she might later, if the judge determined that she was able, be required to pay for the appointed lawyer's services. And then there's that she has not waived her right to counsel. If I have waived my right to counsel, I have done so intelligently and voluntarily for the following reasons, which nothing is stated because she didn't do that. She had counsel with her. So that doesn't matter. It says her attorney is Douglas D. Terry. Her attorney and she and her attorney have fully discussed the statement, her rights, the consequences, and the guilty plea. So there you have it. That's in the books. And next, let me go to the chat, see if you guys have anything to add about Jodi Hildebrandt. Let's see. Hi, Captain Lee, Margot, Erica, hi. Linda, Chris Ree, Nightbot, Cranky Babishka. I'm glad you could be here too, Cranky Babishka. So anybody have anything to add about Jodi Hildebrandt? What their sentences are not going to be concurrent, they're going to be consecutive. And just like Ruby, it's isn't it 5 to 15 years per charge? So you're looking at a minimum of 20 years. And I believe that's what it was, 5 to 15 years. So, and then could be a maximum of 30 years, right? Excuse me, of 60 years. And we'll see I hope you're doing well too, Cranky Babishka. Good to see you. We're going to talk about Gypsy Rose Lee tonight. Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Oh my gosh. I'm losing my mind. I hope I didn't. Let me see something. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, yeah. Okay. And let's talk about Savannah Soto now. That's the pregnant teen that went missing and was due to be induced, didn't show up for the medical appointment, then was found by family members in a vehicle, murdered. Well, there's some documents that came out that tell us some disturbing things. So, let me get Savannah's picture up here. Okay. All right, let's put this up here so we know who we're talking about. And let me get these documents here that tell us some. Okay. All right. Okay, so her boyfriend, Matthew Guerra, was still on probation for assaulting her last Christmas. And he was permitted to have contact with her so long as it wasn't harmful or injurious. He was due in court on January 9th for the other cases. And so let's take a look at what went on last Christmas Day. Okay. So on the 29th day of June 2023, the above named defendant was granted adjudicated probation for a period of 1 year for the offense assault, bodily injury, and then it says married. The defendant stated during an office visit August 29th, 2023 that he is attending battering intervention and prevention program. He failed to provide a receipt for verification of enrollment or the agency location of enrollment as required. CSO explained that he can take it one condition at a time, first completing the battering intervention prevention program, then working on his community service. Therefore, community service is not included in violations above. The focus was to obtain employment during the office visit on 8/29/2023. CSO provided him with job fair referral that took place on 9/5/2023 and instructed him to go. The defendant committed 3 new offenses listed above on September 1st, 2023, and is in waiting indictment on evading arrest. He was released on bond on September 2nd of 2023 and is scheduled for a docket appearance in CC4 for the reckless driving and UCW cases on October 3rd, 2023. He has not focused on seeking employment as directed. The defendant demonstrates being in the pre-contemplation stage and wants to continue to engage in criminal activity. That was returned on 9/12/2023. And then here on 6/30 of 2023, it says you are prohibited from intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly communicating with Savannah Soto, whether by telephone, in writing, or in person, in a harmful or injurious manner, as directed by the court and or the Brevard County Community Supervision and Corrections Department. If court determines offense involves family violence, shelter fee of $100 to a family violence center that receives state or federal funds and serves Bexar County, not Brevard County, I'm sorry, Bexar County, including but not limited to the battered women's shelter, payable by July 1st. And that was the presiding judge. You are hereby advised that under the law of the state of the court shall determine the terms of your community supervision and may any time during the period of your community supervision modify the terms and conditions of your community supervision. So that was all acknowledged and signed. That was June 30th. And let's see here. So he had a whole bunch of conditions here, like you should not speak excuse me, you shall not, hold on one second. Support your independence. Okay, these are his conditions. Remain within Bexar County unless permitted in writing to depart by the court and by the supervision officer. They talked about that. Within 10 days. Enroll in a state accredited battering intervention and prevention program. Okay, so that's all of his conditions there. But let's see here. He was arrested again shortly after his release for making contact with Savannah in person. And let's see here. Then there's something else. Let's see. This was an arrest. So he had a lot of trouble here. This was the 29th day of December of 2022. So exactly almost a year ago, right? On 2 days. He did intentionally and knowingly violate a condition of bond set in a family violence case and related to the safety of the victim and the safety of the community, issued in Bexar County, Texas, dated the 25th day of December 2022. Okay, he intentionally and knowingly communicated directly in person with Savannah Soto in violation of a court order prohibiting any communication. So we have that going on. And then, let's see, he has assault, bodily injury. That was last Christmas Day. So I mean, just another twist in this case. It's very strange. So let me see what their there's any updates. So that's all public record of this stuff, right? But he's deceased too, and there's been nothing to say that he had any involvement in what happened, and that now let me just see if there's anything more that has been released from. Let's see here. Family members said that Savannah, who was 18 and pregnant, was found deceased in her car, and that was in the 5900 block of Danny K, along with an adult male believed to be her boyfriend, Matthew Guerra, who's 22. And they were still awaiting a report from the medical examiner. Now, the statement here mentions an unborn child pronounced dead at the scene. So I don't know if the child was born. People were thinking that someone could have been trying to take their child. But now this from a news source is saying that a child unborn pronounced dead at the scene. So the child's unborn, meaning she's dead. So the child is dead if she was dead a number of hours. So that would seem like no, that was not the purpose to take the child. Let me see here. It's all she was talking about since she got pregnant. She wanted to be a mom. I don't know. It's very, very, very strange case, right? Who did this? And let me just see something here. There's a lot of stuff going on social media now. Let's see. So apparently his mother posted, "Our lives are forever changed. We will never be able to hold our grandson, Fabian. We so anxiously awaited his arrival. Our children are devastated to lose their brother, sister-in-law, Savannah, and nephew. We lost our son, daughter-in-law, Savannah, and grandson in a day. Please keep Savannah Soto's family in your prayers. We have been working with the Leon Valley Police Department since the beginning, consistently behind the scenes for the concerned safety of our daughter. Due to the severity of the case, we have been in contact with Savannah's mother and father, so they're aware of this. We were at the Leon Valley Police Department this morning working with detectives as well, and this is still an ongoing investigation." So, yeah, very sad for both families that they've lost children, a grandchild, and yeah. Another post from his mother, and these are public posts. It says, "Hello, I am Rachel Guerra, Matthew's," okay, this is his stepmother, "and also speaking on behalf of Matthew's father. If anyone can please help us get into contact." She wanted to get him with a news source. She would like to give their side of the story. And so she's saying, but Father, they were looking to tell their story. That was 7 hours ago. So they're looking to tell their story on the news. So I don't know what's going on. The police had called it a perplexing scene. And let's see here. there's a lot of like TikTok and stuff on. But okay, here's something else. When was this posted? Okay, so they say a sister-in-law was alerted of the found vehicle, called police, and then made the way to the scene. She was reported she was the one looking in the vehicle and saw that Savannah was in the front seat and Matthew was in the back seat. And this was reported by KSAT News. Said that Soto's sister-in-law told KSAT that someone contacted her via Facebook and that they saw the Optima in the parking lot. She contacted the police and she and her family made her way to the scene, and that's when she saw them deceased in the vehicle like she just described. All right, let me go to the live stream here. Where are you? Okay, here we go. So let me see what you guys, if you're saying, hi, M.E. Very sad, 3 lives gone, yep. And all around Christmas and crazy. Just very tragic event, and not knowing now what, I don't know. I'm not going to go on with a bunch of speculation because I don't think, let me see if the medical examiner has issued anything. Death's being investigated as a murder. Okay, here's something. They said they each had a gunshot wound. That's according to the San Antonio Express News. Let's see here. Each had okay, here's NBC News. Let's see what this says. They both sustained a gunshot wound. That's from police on Wednesday. The couple has not been officially identified by the medical examiner. Police have not released the boyfriend's name, saying only that the man in the vehicle was 22 years old. Associated Press identified him as Matthew Guerra. An unborn child was also killed, police said. A representative with the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office said Wednesday afternoon there was no additional information to release about the case. Okay. Detectives are treating the case as a possible capital murder investigation. Asked if investigators were looking for a suspect. They said there were no known suspects, and that there was no ongoing threat to the public. Savannah's mother, Gloria Cordova, said in a Facebook post that her daughter was scheduled to be induced at 6:30 p.m. Saturday and never showed up. And in a news interview with an NBC affiliate out of San Antonio, her mother said that there was no reason why Savannah would just get up and go off. Okay, so So that's about the size of that. And let me just see if there was anything else before. About anything else I wanted to touch upon. Tonight I will do the gypsy on the eve of the release, and we'll also look at the Idaho 4 house demolition. There was something I wanted to just touch on because there was an influencer in Hawaii who was killed by an estranged husband in front of their 8-year-old daughter. Unbelievable. So this happened on Friday. He allegedly killed her, then turned the gun on himself, all in front of their 8-year-old daughter. Teresa Kachula, 33, filed a temporary restraining order against her estranged husband, Jason Cachuela, who was 44. So 11 years difference in age. She claimed to get that order that he threatened to kill himself in front of her. And she said that he had guns and he made threats with the children present. And I quote, this is what she put in that report to get that restraining order. He then took me alone to Waikiki and held a knife to his neck, traumatizing me and scaring me. The next morning, he showed up to my house early in the morning to apologize. I tried to help him and talk to him, but he kept threatening to kill himself again. End quote. Their 8-year-old daughter witnessed her father murder her mother, and this happened in a parking garage at the Pearl Ridge Center in Honolulu, and then he was later found deceased of a self-inflicted gunshot wound behind a home. Now, Teresa's mother said that her daughter said that Jason, the estranged husband, was abusive, and she was seeking help from organizations that assist domestic violence victims. And sources say that a SWAT team had went and confiscated some of the weapons from the estranged husband, Jason, because a judge ordered him to surrender his guns. So they had on Wednesday agreed to some visitation terms for their children. They also agreed in court to keep the protection order active for another year. But shortly before she was murdered, Teresa told her family that Jason was acting strangely, tracking her whereabouts through her car and phone. And she said that she didn't think that law enforcement was taking this stuff seriously. Her mother said, and I quote, "They never arrested him knowing that he had guns, knowing that he tried to threaten. He tried to kill the kids and her in her own garage. The court wasn't there for her." End quote. And then, quote again, "The system failed her and now she's gone." End quote from her mother. So sad. I believe she was a social media influencer. So, very sad case again. And then there's another very strange case. A couple is missing in San Diego. And it's weird, their last name is Soto. Isn't that crazy, right? San Diego couple vanished 5 days before Christmas, leaving behind the mother's car and her wallet and cell phone. Johnny Soto's truck, along with his cell phone and wallet, are gone. And his cell phone was turned off shortly after he left the house. Neighbor security camera shows troubling activity at the home on the night the couple who were separated disappeared. Oh boy. Even though they were separated, the couple's oldest child, Alexa Soto, said, and I quote, they were still in contact, they still talked, she would come over to Johnny's house and talk. Their son, Vincent, said he was at the house on December 20th when his parents disappeared, and I quote him saying, it felt like a normal night. He was just sitting here watching TV like he always does, and my parents, they always talk. He asked me, hey, Vinny, can you leave for a minute? We're going to talk. So I left the house, not assuming anything. Vincent said that he left for about an hour and a half and returned after getting a text from his father that the couple had left the house. And they never returned. A neighbor's doorbell camera showed Melissa Soto's car arrive at the house shortly before 9 p.m. and 30 minutes later the car pulls out of the driveway and backs in. Yikes. Just before 10:30 p.m., a different neighbor's camera showed the garage door and the car's trunk open. Not good. The Soto's children say police checked the trunk, which remains parked at their father's house, and found nothing. Okay, so the car that was backed in is still there. That's weird. What the heck was that about? What was he, unless he was getting some? That's weird. But at about 10:33, the doorbell camera shows Johnny Soto drive away in the truck. We all had hopes that they would at least come back for Christmas, said their daughter Alexia. They left with no clothes, and their aunt, Christina Sandoval, said, and I quote, they left with nothing. All his clothes that he wears normally, like his sweats there in the bedroom. Her phone was left here, her wallet was left here, her keys were left here, and then his phone was turned off at about 15 to 20 minutes after he left here. Okay, the daughter Elise has a message, and I quote, even if they did go somewhere and plan to stay out a while, at least message or call one of us to let us know that they are both okay and that we love them. And that's from, end quote, from Alexia and Elise, their daughters, Soto. Well, that's strange. That's very strange. Hopefully, oh gosh, how come the couple's images, I put that over there? That would be a good idea. I had their image over there. Sorry about that. I don't know why that didn't go on there. That's the couple. It's missing. So, wow, yeah. Hopefully they're found. Okay, and it's 6:37, so what I'm going to do is go back to the chat, because I've got to get ready for my next live, which is the cookie baking. So I'm going to redirect you guys over there, and you know, it'll start in a little bit, but hopefully. Hi Fozzie, I haven't seen you in a long time. How are you doing? Hope you had a good Christmas holiday. Let me see here. Who else came in here? What was it? Fozia says, oh, you said something. Oh, we miss you too. I'm glad you came in. We're going to do some cookie baking and some stuff. So, anyway, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Thanks for watching so much. If you could hit the likes on your way out, that would be great. Thanks so much, and see you later on. Bye now.